Hey, everybody. Welcome to the week ahead for Sunday, October 5th through the 11th. I'm in rough shape. I showed up anyway. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough week for me, but it's also been a tough week. What a week. Oh my gosh. There's so much that went on, especially on Monday and Tuesday last week, the 29th and 30th of September. Wow. Yeah, I think I might have said in my, last video that those 2 days might have been a little whatever, but it was cruxy. Boy, oh boy, there was a lot going on there. So, anyway, coming at you on Saturday, October 4th, looking back at that week. And the things that are coming to me right now that I'd love to share with you. I would say that the theme of this week is moving out of chaos and toward a plan. That is what I'm feeling and maybe hoping for and seeing. So let's look into it a little bit more. Again, I'm I'm a little rough today, so bear with me. So over here, the chart the day. This is actually for Sunday, the 5th, and there's a few things I want to point out. The first thing is the moon and Rahu. You can see on the left corner column over there. The moon is joining Rahu as the new week dawns. So we are opening up our Sunday with a little bit of crazy. That's where the crazy part comes from. The chaos, the crazy. Moon and Rahu right at 24 and 26 degrees Pisces. So, I'm sorry, Aquarius, see? Aquarius. And it's interesting. Aquarius is such a dual sign. Aquarius, we believe, has two rulers. There's a co-rulership between Saturn and Rahu for Aquarius. So it's one of those signs that has two sides to it. In addition, I would say the other signs that have that nature, the dual nature, are all of the dual signs, which are ruled by Jupiter and Mercury. So Gemini is the first one that comes in the zodiac, then Virgo. Those are both Mercury signs. And then Sagittarius and Pisces. They're both Jupiter signs. And so those four signs are designated as dual signs. Or Dvishva Bhava, meaning two states, two moods, two sides. So that's a duality in the zodiac. In this kind of chart that I'm showing you, which is the South Indian chart, all of the dual signs hold the corners. So in that kind of chart that I'm showing you, the signs are always static. They're always in the same place. I have them marked up there for you, but always in the upper right it will be Gemini, and always in the upper left Pisces, etc. So anyway, there's a lot of duality. You could even just take stock. I'm saying Gemini and all those signs and plus Aquarius are dual signs. Count up how many planets there are in those signs at the moment, and soon to be more, because Venus will be joining the Sun in Virgo later on this week. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention was Venus. So back to Moon and Rahu. We start out this week on Sunday with the moon almost full. So the full moon will come on Monday, Tuesday, depending on where you live in the world. But yeah, there's this whole both sides now thing that's really feeling strong to me right now. And it almost translates as a feeling of there's a good possibility that either one of those, whatever they might be for you, tracks might be the one you take. So if you're feeling indecisive and mired and stuck and uninformed and can't decide, I understand. I understand why. Hope you can find some clarity. So we're starting with crazy, and hopefully we'll go for a plan as the week goes. So moon on Sunday with Rahu is in the nakshatra of Purvabhadra. I started talking about nakshatras last week. So if we divide the sky space into the signs that we know, Aries, Taurus, etc., it's a 12-fold division of the same zone of space that we're looking at. The sun will travel through one of those zones per month. Takes the sun a whole year to get through all of the signs. Nakshatras are the lunar mansions. They are a 27-fold division of the same exact space. So the nakshatras, which are the lunar mansions, coincide and lay on top of the solar houses. So I love the nakshatras. A lot of people love the nakshatras. They're so cool because they give us a little bit more information. Like if I say, oh, the moon's in Aquarius, but what part of Aquarius? That's a 30-degree span. And the nakshatras give us a little bit more information and color for this particular slice of Aquarius or any sign. So the nakshatras give us, each one has its own planetary ruler and its own deity that rules it and a symbol that comes with it and stories. So it gives us a little bit more detail on any kind of planet's position in a sign. So the moon and Rahu on Sunday are in Purvabhadra. The reason why I'm hammering on this so hard is that Purvabhadra is also has a very dual nature, very dual. It has this kind of two-faced, either way anything goes feeling. So the full moon last month, a month ago when we had that lunar eclipse occurred in Purvabhadra. So maybe you'll feel some reverberations from whatever occurred last month at that full moon lunar eclipse. So the other cool thing about Purvabhadra right now is that Saturn, you can look in the upper left-hand corner there at 3 degrees 13 minutes, retrograde Saturn is also in Purvabhadra. So Moon, Rahu, and Saturn. So that's the thing about some of the nakshatras. They don't just neatly fit into each sign. Each sign is 30 degrees. Each of the nakshatras is 13 degrees, 20 minutes. Don't get intimidated by the math. It's okay. But not 3 nakshatras fit inside of one sign. So some of the nakshatras will sit all entirely in one sign, and some of them will span across signs. Purvabhadra is one of those ones that spans. So it joins, actually it kind of connects Aquarius and Pisces. So at the moment, especially tomorrow when the moon is in Purvabhadra, Moon, Rahu, and Saturn are all there at once. So as we get ready for the full moon and the week, tomorrow, Sunday, realize that the theme is chaos to plan, and in the context of we have a lot of choices and duality going on. There's a lot of like either of your pathways that you see ahead of you may feel really viable, and maybe they both are. Anywho, so that's to me the theme of this week. Purvabhadra, Saturn and Rahu. Both of those planets are very chaotic. Well, Rahu is, and Saturn, when retrograde, can be a little bit chaotic. And the feeling of anchoring deep into the earth while everything is swirling around is very much a vibe for Purvabhadra. So the other thing I just sometimes look at these charts and go, oh, there's a pattern. I see a thing. I kind of see in this lower right corner over here, there's a lot going on over there. And then it's like there's this opposition with the Saturn moon Rahu energy. and Jupiter's up there holding space. So, yeah, it feels very dual. It feels very oppositional energy. And during the full moon, here, let me click this forward so we can go to Monday. So Monday, you've got the moon has moved up into the early degrees of Pisces. So we got a Pisces full moon. Remember, Pisces is dual too. It's one of Jupiter's signs. Oh, I forgot to mention also that Purva Bhadra nakshatra, its planetary ruler is actually Jupiter, another dual energy. So, yeah, there's a lot of Jupiter energy this week because of what the nakshatras are that the planets are occupying. So, Jupiter, Rahu, Saturn, Mars and Mercury, actually. So maybe not all week. You can take that loosely. So the full moon. This is the full moon day. It's not the full moon moment. This is just, oh, by the way, also I decided to show you from my perspective. I live there, so I decided to start using my own time zone. So yeah, if you read or listen to my monthly forecast, the full moon sounded a little dire. I just reread the section. I'm like, oh, geez, Kerry, it's like a little bit rough. But I even mentioned bad moon rising. So it feels a little like iffy. So why did I say the bad moon rising? Because of moon being in Purva Bhadra, which is an intense nakshatra. I'm sorry, it's going to be an Uttra Bhadra for the actual full moon. See, I'm off my game. But there's a really close conjunction with Saturn. So Saturn and the moon together can always be a little ouchy. The moon's like our sensitive energy, and Saturn's kind of like that hard taskmaster energy. So that's always a little rough. So the moon, when it's full, is at its most powerful, beautiful, and gorgeous. And meeting up with Saturn makes that a little rough. The other thing is we still have Saturn aspecting the sun. Whoever's going to be in Virgo at the moment is going to get an aspect from Saturn. So later this week, we have Venus coming into Virgo. That's a mixed thing. We'll bookmark that. So Saturn and the sun opposite, and Saturn with the moon. It just feels a little tough. It feels like we're all being driven to this ending and beginning point. And I say that because of Pisces, the sign. It's the last final sign of the zodiac. And when things end, what happens? Something else starts, right? So the moon is joining up with Saturn on this particular full moon. And it may feel for you like, I do have to let this one thing go in order to go on that other track that I was seeing. And it may not be fun. And you also may not feel confident about the choice because of the retrograde Saturn with the moon, Saturn aspecting the sun, Jupiter, who is our guide. We all look to Jupiter as a guide or a guru. Is in a good place in a sense with being in his own nakshatra of Punarvasu. But we are going to see Jupiter moving soon. On October 18th, Jupiter's going to dip down into the sign of Cancer just for about 6 plus weeks. And Jupiter's just getting close to the border of the end of Gemini. So anytime a planet kind of gets to that edge, it feels a little consequential. And so maybe this last week and this upcoming week, we also might feel that sense of like not really knowing which way to go. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting. Maybe by the end of the week when we have a plan, it'll be a little bit better. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to go forward. I didn't talk much to you about Uttra Bhadra. Let me just dwell on that for a minute. Okay, so it's the pair, Purva Bhadra and Uttara Bhadra are seen as a pair. And Uttara Bhadra is actually ruled by the planet Saturn. So there's today, Sunday, the feeling might be, I don't know what to do. Monday, as the moon gets brighter, you might think, okay, I'm getting a little bit of an idea of where to go, but I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the consequences of what I'm having to face here. So, life is hard. And we all are in it together. So, oops, I'm cruising around here. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Okay, so many things. Sorry. All right, this is the Tuesday chart. So you can see that moon is still in Pisces on Tuesday, but it's in the final nakshatra of the zodiac, which is called Revati. Revati is ruled by Mercury, and it is the final little slice where we end the zodiac and then start up again. And it'll be the day after the full moon, so the moon will already be waning. And it brings up another thing with a dual feeling to me, which is the Jupiter and Mercury ever existent relationship, where Jupiter is the teacher and Mercury is the student, etc. So moon will be going through Revati, which is a very Jupiter and Mercury spot in the zodiac, because Jupiter rules Pisces and Mercury rules Revati. And right now we have Jupiter in Mercury's sign of Gemini, and we have Jupiter aspecting where Mercury is. So it feels like Tuesday might be one of those days where we start figuring it out. We have to figure out what we're going to release. That's the Revati. What's too heavy to carry? What's not valuable anymore? What will only weigh me down going forward? These are things to think about on Tuesday. And even though Saturn and Moon are still together in the zodiac, after that full moon moment, the moon's moving away from Saturn. So that feeling might be a little less despair as you start hitting your stride during the week. So, okay, let's go to Wednesday. All right, so Wednesday we have the moon has gone over into Aries, waning moon. And that day, the moon will be in Ashwini. Ashwini Nakshatra is the very first slice of the zodiac. And Ashwini sits all entirely in Aries, but it is ruled by the planet Ketu. So moon being in Aries in Ashwini throughout Wednesday and Thursday is also going to bring up the opposition between the Mars and Mercury that are in Libra. So that whenever planets are opposite to each other, that's the most natural aspect that we encounter. And it's a very strong channel, like a clear channel between the planets on the other opposite sides of the zodiac. So moon in Aries, Mercury and Mars in Libra. And this is Wednesday. And this is where I feel like the switch happens from, the chaos to the plan. So keep your eyes open. Mercury and Mars love planning. They love it. They love lists. They love strategy. It's kind of their overlap zone. They like efficiency and planning. And so those two planets sitting in Libra are good in a sense for creating plans and creating strategies and creating processes. So hopefully that is happening for you. I do have another take on the Mars Mercury thing I'm gonna wait for, again, there's another bookmark. Okay, so that's Wednesday. So think about Wednesday as really being a turning point in the week of where things start to get clear, where you might start to gather your threads up together and braid them up and say, okay, I got a rope to help me do my job here coming up. All right, and then this is Thursday. The moon's still in Aries. There was an interesting thing that happens. So what happened? Venus moved from Leo into Virgo overnight. And so that's something to really look at. And I'm going to stop there and just talk about that for a minute. So we're starting out this week, at the moment that I'm making this video, with Venus having just moved past K2. And I have some things to say about that. Number one, it really felt like, for me, like something was really stuck. And now there's enough rise and momentum and consolidation that things have gone over the brim. Things have gone over the lip of and the edge, and Venus rules the water element and tends to flow. And K2 to me is like a blocking or a wall. And it felt like with Venus coming up toward K2, we were blocked. There was a blockage, there was a puzzle, there was an obstacle. And with Venus having just moved past K2, it's like we're flowing out, which could be positive or not. It might release some information. It might release some feelings. It might break up things that were stuck in some kind of way. So that's one thing I have to say. The other thing is that I just want to talk about Venus and Mars as politics and power. And politics have been unavoidably present in all of our lives for a while, but last week was a doozy. And if you think about power being, and how we deploy it, essentially, right? We're talking armies, we're talking last Tuesday, the meeting of all the generals, etc., in Washington, D.C., that was kind of Mars consolidated all into one room. And as it turned out, it seemed very Venus-y, the reason for them being there. And Venus tends to say, okay, there's a show here, there's a theater here, etc. And so with Mars being in Libra, Libra is Venus's air sign. I think of Libra as being very political. So with Mars being in Libra, we're all kind of watching this theater. It looked like political theater, at least in the US. I know there's real stuff going on in the world all over the place. Anyway, just a thought, right? And so Venus getting out of K2's hold and into Virgo, I really feel like we're going to feel that. We're going to feel some movement with something, and not just in politics. It's going to happen in our own life, depending on how your chart is. So anyway, that Venus moving is a big thing. And is it better? Is Venus better in Virgo than Leo? Maybe a little. Venus, it's neither of those signs are Venus's favorite places, but I feel like we have a little bit better of a chance to have things happen, move, and manifest with Venus out of the hold of K2. So, okay. Oh yeah, the other thing that happens is, it's interesting. We start each day, you check what the nakshatra is for the day. And on Thursday, no, it's actually Friday. So Thursday, the moon starts in Bharani. And then Friday, it's already in Rohini. So in a way, there's a nakshatra skip of this week. And the one that's skipped is Kritika. Kritika is ruled by the sun. Interesting. I just noticing things. Noticing that we're skipping Kritika, but Kritika Nakshatra will be the main energy of Thursday. Kritika is ruled by the sun, and it has a very intense energy. It spans in between Aries and Taurus. So, with all the planets sitting in Jupiter ruled nakshatras, and Thursday being Jupiter's day, and the moon running through Kritika that day, I don't know. It just seems like something might happen interestingly on Thursday. So that's that. And then Friday, we've got the moon has gone to Taurus, and it starts out the day in Rohini. Rohini is ruled by the moon itself. So that feels like almost the best week of the day of the week, Friday. Seems like there's a lot going on, just trying to sort things out and get back on track this week. So Friday feels pretty good. I do want to point out that Mars is aspecting Taurus though, and that might feel you're going to feel that aggression no matter what. All right, let's wrap it up. We've got Saturday. So Saturday is going to be the October 11th. The moon moves into from Taurus into Gemini that day. And it's Mrigashira. Mrigashira Nakshatra is ruled by Mars. It feels like a lot of energy, a lot of movement. But Mars always has a plan, right? So we started the week with not knowing what we're doing. By the end of the week on Saturday, hopefully the strategies and the plans will be coming into clarity. So that's what I've got for you. Just think about trying to bring things from no plan to plan as this week goes. All right, this was a long one, even though I don't feel well. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Take care.